and United Nations Security Council to meet today to discuss India-Pakistan tensions.
Right, this really comes at a time where the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said that it is his responsibility to work with the armed forces and give a befitting reply, while Donald Trump has ordered 100% tariffs on movies produced outside of the United States. We'll get you all that and more. First, the headlines. 11th consecutive night of ceasefire violations that are being reported along the line of control. The Pakistan ceasefire violations continues and the focus is on Jammu. Today, the UNSC will be meeting over the tension between India and Pakistan. The Defence Minister has promised that Pahalgam attackers will have to pay back.
And in the Bengaluru molestation case, accused has finally been arrested. In fact, a man molested a woman outside a tech park in IT city.
And 20 days since the violence today, it is Mamata Banerjee who will be visiting Murshidabad for the first time. Bengal governor's damning report as far as that report to the Ministry of Home Affairs is concerned. The governor there seeking the centre's intervention. This is in the report to the MHA as the West Bengal Chief Minister will finally be visiting the violence-hit areas.
And top court to hear pleas against the Waqf Act. Today, Supreme Court is all set to decide if interim order is needed on Waqf.
And US President Donald Trump expands tariff war to the big screen. Donald Trump is now batting for Hollywood, says that he wants movies to be made in the US. So there's going to be 100% tariffs for movies that are made outside of the United States.
And Shah Rukh Khan's Met Gala debut today. King of Bollywood is all set to make his first ever appearance at the 2025 Met Gala, one of the biggest fashion nights in the world. First up, tensions continue to escalate along the line of control during the night of May 4 and 5. Pakistani army posts open unprovoked small arms fire across multiple sectors in J&K, including Kupwara, Baramulla, Poonch, Rajouri and Naushera and several other sectors as well. Divya, the Indian Army, of course, responding promptly. This marking the 11th consecutive night of ceasefire violations, with recent incidents now heavily concentrated in the Jammu sectors.
That's right. There's been a slew of ceasefire violations by the Pakistani side along the line of control. It's been 11 nights, showing the unprovoked firing from posts across the border are no longer restricted to one or two sectors, as was considered normal in the past, but have simultaneously taken place all along the line of control in multiple sectors. And to know more on this, we have our colleague Shiv joining us from Srinagar. But before that, let's listen in to what the authorities have to say.
एक रक्षा मंत्री के रूप में मेरा दायित्व है कि मैं अपने सैनिकों के साथ मिलकर देश की सीमाओं की सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित करूं, और मेरा यह दायित्व है कि अपनी सेना के साथ मिलकर देश के ऊपर आंख उठाने वालों को मुंहतोड़ जवाब दूं। आप सभी हमारे प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को अच्छी तरह जानते हैं। उनकी कार्यशैली से भी अच्छी तरह परिचित हैं, उनकी दृढ़ता से भी अच्छी तरह परिचित हैं। मैं आपको आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं, प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में जैसा आप चाहते हैं वैसा होकर रहे।
Joining us from Srinagar, Shiv, of course, this really comes at a time when skirmishes along the line of control show no signs of let up, and there the Defence Minister assuring that India is going to be giving a befitting response, and that it is the Defence Minister's, responsibility to ensure that the perpetrators pay back, and that is what he has gone on to say. But this really comes at a time, Shiv, when alarmed residents in the border areas have now begun clearing out and preparing both community and personal bunkers.
The Defence Minister's comments are very, very important. Remember, we're coming on to 2 weeks since the Pahalgam terror attack, and there has been a consistent and palpable sense of suspense and anticipation and eagerness over what India's response is going to be. The political leadership from Prime Minister downward, Defence Minister and Home Minister have made it consistently clear that there will be a response. The Prime Minister has given the armed forces the operational freedom to choose what kind of response, where, and the kind of timing that they will decide. But it's been 2 weeks, and therefore there are obvious questions in the public mind as to whether some visible action is going to be taken. Remember, after the Uri surgical strikes, 13 days passed before India had taken action. In the case of the Pulwama terror attack, 10 days had passed before action was taken. Now we're on to 12 days. So if one needs to look at that as a benchmark, and it is not, quite frankly, that's an interesting piece of information. However, this time things are different. India is definitely harping on the time and place of our choosing. It is not rushing into any action. If anyone seems to be in a hurry and seems to be scrambling, it's Pakistan. If you look at the spate of ceasefire violations that you rightly said have entered their 11th night last night, largely concentrated in the Jammu sectors of the line of control, but also the Kashmir sectors where I've been reporting from, namely Baramulla and Kupwara. Those don't seem to be letting up at all, but are clearly a sign of Pakistan still kind of navigating the ambiguity of where India's next big attack is really going to come from. Remember, Pakistan has also knocked the doors of the United Nations Security Council and sort of exuded many other messagings that seem to suggest that the Pakistan military is truly in meltdown mode in terms of getting a fix on what India's response is really going to be about. So the line of control being activated, escalated, Sundarbani, right, Poonch, Mendhar, Rajouri, Naushera, Akhnur, there seems to be a pattern here.
Right, of course, Shiv, this really comes at a time when today the United Nations Security Council will be meeting in order to discuss the escalating tensions between India and Pakistan following the attack that took place in Pahalgam. This really comes after Pakistan's Foreign Office has gone on to say that it will inform the World Security Body about India's aggressive actions, provocation and provocative statements as well.
That's right.
This is a little bit of a lark, because Pakistan tested a nuclear-capable missile a couple of days ago, and they're now running to the United Nations Security Council saying, India is provoking. The irony here, of course, is that India has done nothing to provoke. There have been comments, there have been, words from the political leadership, there have been meetings that have been taking place in Delhi, but by way of movements, testing, there has been absolutely nothing from the Indian side. And I think that is what has led to a level of crippling paralysis on the Pakistan side, because they don't know what to work with. Is it going to be a surgical strike? Is it going to be an aerial strike? Is it going to be from the Navy? Is it going to be special forces? Is it going to be assassinations? Is it going to be a mix of all three? They have no idea what's coming for them, and that's the reason why they've gone to the United Nations Security Council in a desperate bid to get them to hold this closed meeting, which will take place today, as you rightly said, where Pakistan is a non-permanent member, to try and impose some kind of a statement on India and Pakistan. It's never worked in the past, frankly, so there's no reason why it should work here. The trigger for this, knocking on the doors of the United Nations Security Council, however, appears to be the water wars, which we will be reporting on later today as well. The closing off of the Baglihar Dam, certain other measures taken in pursuance of India's suspension of the Indus Water Treaty, that really, really harms Pakistan, because there will be immediate impact on that country's food and energy security. And therefore, I think they're looking nervously at the United Nations Security Council, hoping they can step in and calm things down. I don't think that's going to happen, though.
Right, and Shiv, Pakistan, of course, will be talking about India's aggressive actions. We did hear what Pakistan's plan is going to be as far as the UN Security Council is concerned. So how really is India planning to attack Pakistan's narrative before the UNSC?
Well, you know, that's a very good question. The narrative of Pakistan is pretty much plain to see. There's a very visible shift in the manner in which India has actually played this particular part. Remember, after the Balakot bombings, there was a huge information crossfire between India and Pakistan, lots of claims and counterclaims. You know, not all of it went in favor of India because many of those victories, which were definitely real, you know, were not undisputed. There was a fog of war. There was ambiguity over what really happened, etc., etc. This time, India, you know, learning some of those lessons from the past, doesn't want to fall into a narrative trap being set by Pakistan. So what India is doing really right now is letting Pakistan, you know, spend all its ammunition at the line of control, conduct all those war drills, you know, sort of paint itself into a corner in terms of its nerves, test its nuclear missiles, bang on the doors of the United Nations Security Council, and look, frankly, quite guilty about what happened in Pahalgam. It's like standing back and just letting the guilty party kind of look guiltier and guiltier with each passing hour and each passing day. And I think knocking the doors of the United Nations Security Council definitely does that.
All right. Thank you, Shiv, for getting us all of those details. Of course, we will keep coming back to you as both the countries make its stand clear before the UNSC. Let's shift our focus now to Bengaluru. Cops have nabbed the man accused in the shocking Bengaluru molestation case that has sparked citywide outrage. The 23-year-old woman was molested late at night outside a tech park in the city. The accused brazenly struck the woman twice before fleeing the scene.
That's right. At the, this was at the Eco Park, the Eco Tech Park, and disturbingly, the survivor says that despite shouting for help, no one came forward to assist her. The incident that was caught on CCTV raised serious concerns when it came to women's safety and public, opinion when it comes to as far as a city that's considered safe, a city which is one of the busiest IT hubs as well. We have Deepak joining us to get us more on this. Deepak, from the details that you've got for us in regard to the man, the perpetrator in this case, who was caught on CCTV, who's finally been caught by the police, was someone who's done an MBA, somebody who's educated, and yet, did sort of try to get away with, molesting this girl right outside the tech park in a very busy, crowded area, of course, raising huge concerns amongst the educated lot.
Absolutely, and appalling to say the least that this man, an MBA graduate working in a private firm, stoops to this level. And once again, there are several question marks that come up after this incident. One is, this is a busy area. It's inside a tech park. There is private security there. There are a lot of cameras as well that are put everywhere in that vicinity. But even then, this man is audacious enough to go ahead and do something that is not once but twice. She was hit from the back while he was on the bike, and he gets away. And the police, of course, found it very difficult to get hold of him, considering the fact that the CCTV captured him but couldn't actually get the number on his plate. They had to review CCTV footages leading in and leading away from the spot. And finally, of course, they've managed to get hold of him. But it took them a few days before they could actually do it. We had spoken to the complainant in the case earlier, who had demanded stringent action against the accused, who had also appealed to the women who encounter any situation like this to go out there, report it so that the police can bring them to book. And here, while I had in fact had a word with her, she was happy that the police had actually gone ahead and made this arrest. We just hope that the police, of course, ensure that there is stringent punishment meted out to this individual so that he or anybody else does not dare to commit a crime like this in the future in the city.
Right, Deepak, thank you so much for getting us those details. Let's just also switch tracks now to West Bengal, where the Chief Minister will be visiting Murshidabad today. And of course, this is the area that had reported, the kind of violence that had erupted. Now, from what we are hearing is that finally the Chief Minister is going to be visiting the violence-hit area. The Chief Minister is scheduled to arrive in Murshidabad by late afternoon in order to take stock of the situation there. Mamata Banerjee there, who has been saying that she didn't go to the area earlier, Radhika, because of not creating any kind of hindrance and, because there were prohibitory orders in place and because of the violence that had erupted.
That's right. Congress leaders have pointed fingers as far as this visit is concerned, calling it riot tourism. Meanwhile, West Bengal Governor Anand Bose has submitted a report on the recent riots. And he has submitted this report before the MHA, mentioning that the twin spectre of radicalization and militancy poses a serious challenge to the state. Let's listen in to a few reactions.
ममता बनर्जी मुर्शिदाबाद में आ रही है। घटना घटने की कितने दिन बाद आप खुद देख रहे हैं। जब सारे हालात सामान्य होते जा रहे हैं तो यहां आकर वो झूठ की और गुमराह करने की पुलिंदा निकालेंगे। जब खून बह रहे थे, दीदी हमारे चुप थी। उस समय उनके दूसरे काम थे, कहीं मंदिर उद्घाटन, कहीं मंदिर बनाना, देवता को प्राण।
Let's go straight across to Shreyashi on this. Shreyashi, of course, Mamata Banerjee, they're all set to visit violence hit to Murshidabad. Of course, Congress there pointing fingers at the visit that it is too late, too delayed, and also calling it riot tourism. Take us through the details as far as this visit is concerned, and of course, the reactions coming in, especially from the opposition there.
Well, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee will be embarking on a 3-day visit to Murshidabad. She will be visiting the riot-hit areas where communal clashes had broken out between April 11th and 12th in Jangipur police district of Murshidabad. And she will be meeting the victims and also the survivors of these communal clashes. She will be taking stock of the situation, meeting the state administration, which is pressed into action there. Simultaneously, while she will be visiting, the Calcutta High Court will resume hearing the Murshidabad violence cases. 5 petitions had been filed before the High Court, demanding a central agency investigation into the crime that occurred during these violent anti-Waqf protests here in West Bengal. But of course, the opposition heat continues on the Chief Minister of West Bengal. She had appealed to the opposition leaders to visit at a time when peace had been restored, and now she is going there. And what she says will, of course, be very important after visiting those areas.
Right, Shreyashi, also take us through the report that the governor has submitted with a slew of measures. Take us through that.
Well, the governor about 3 days ago has submitted his report on Murshidabad violence to the MHA. The governor has outlined the kind of violence that unfolded in Murshidabad district on 11th and 12th of April. He has spoken about intel failure on behalf of the state government, said that though there was an escalation, the state government failed to arrest these violent protests in Murshidabad. Apart from that, he has also outlined about radicalization and, alleged population manipulation in his report, also teasing Article 356 President's rule in his suggestions. But of course, the governor's report will not be taken too kindly by the Trinamool Congress, and we will wait and see how the Chief Minister reacts to this report that has been filed by Raj Bhavan, West Bengal, to the MH regarding the violence that unfolded.
Right, Shreyashi, thank you for getting us all of those details from West Bengal. Of course, we'll keep coming back to you. Let's shift our focus to some developments expected in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is scheduled to hear a batch of pleas challenging the constitutional validity of Waqf Amendment Act today. In fact, the hearing coming weeks after the Union government stayed a few provisions in the controversial law after questions were raised by the top court.
That's right. A special bench headed by the Chief Justice of India will, of course, consider the question of interim stay of the Waqf Act. Earlier, a special bench heard and had recorded this assurance that was given by the government to not to de-notify any Waqf property, including Waqf by user ones, nor make any appointment of non-Muslims to the Central Waqf Council or the state's Waqf boards. We have Nupur, our colleague, joining us to get us more on this. Nupur, the government's assurance in the matter was only up till today, and this is where, the case goes forward. What is it that we can expect in the court today?
Yes, the Supreme Court is likely to take this up at 2 p.m. today. The matter is listed in front of the special bench listed before Chief Justice of India. the bench headed by Chief Justice of India. Now, the important question that the bench is likely to decide today is whether there should be an interim stay on these provisions or not. Remember, in the last hearing, the top court had taken this assurance from the center that on the provisions it is proposing to stay until the final hearing is completed. Center will not let them come into force. That is, it will not let anything change on grounds as far as these provisions are considered. Now, it will be very important to see that how the court hearing goes today, because center on its part has categorically opposed any kind of interim stay or blanket stay on the act till the time the entire hearing is completed. Remember, the court had said that the complete hearing can take place 6 to 8 months to complete. So today, if there is an interim stay by the top court, it can prove a big hurdle in getting the new Waqf Amendment Act on ground to implement them. It could really be a big roadblock, and in fact, it will be partially remain stayed, and nothing, as the court had said, that nothing would change on ground if the top court today grants this interim stay.
Thank you so much, Nupur, for getting us all those details. We will keep coming back to you for more on that. Let's just get you some international news now. And it's President Donald Trump, who has announced a 100% tariff on films that are produced overseas, saying that the movie industry in the United States is dying at a very fast pace. It's dying a very fast death. And other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the United States. Hollywood and many other areas within the United States are being devastated. So basically, Radhika, he really wants movies now to be made within the United States.
That's right. This is, of course, a concerted effort by other nations and therefore a national security threat. That's what he posted on Truth Social. Trump's move comes nearly a month after China said it would moderately reduce the number of US films it imported into the country amid a trade war between the world's two largest economies. We have Abira joining us. Abira, this is, of course, a bold declaration that has been made by President Donald Trump as far as movies that are concerned, imposing 100% tariff on all movies produced outside the United States. Take us through the rationale behind this move and what its implications could be.
Okay, let me first make it very clear that it is right now not clear how much tariff would be imposed. And also, films are intellectual property. They are not goods. So right now, they do not represent a kind of service on which tariffs can be applied. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, yes, we know that Indian films are doing extremely well in USA, especially South Indian films, releasing in more than, let's talk about Kill. Kill is a film that got the maximum number of screens in America in 2024. It was a 2024 release. Guneet Monga, Karan Johar came together to release that film, and more than 1,000 screens released the film Kill. And this is just a release. That was the first Indian film that got so many screens in United States. We also have films like Bahubali 1, Bahubali 2. We have so many other South films that have been doing extremely, Kalki, that have been doing extremely well at the US box office. So, but before any impact we talk about, we have to wait and watch what are these tariffs on, and then we can decide that how it is impacting the film industry here in India. But yes, over the years the film industry has grown leaps and bounds here in the United States. I was speaking to, right now I am in United States. I've been speaking to few people as soon as the news broke, and they said that, you know, what has become easier is there are more screens that are screening Indian movies which are close to their house. So everybody wants to go and catch, especially we are in California right now. California has the maximum Indian population, the most number of Indian population here in United States, thanks to Silicon Valley, the opportunities here. So everybody wants to go catch over a weekend. They want to catch an Indian film. They stay away from home. So it is a huge business here. Indian films are doing great here, and over the years we have seen the numbers increasing. $20 million, that's the amount of money that each film is grossing nowadays. So yeah, we have to wait and watch, but what are these tariffs on? Then only the experts can tell us how it will impact the Indian film industry.
Right. Of course, Abira joining us from the United States. Now, let's just also get you Indian scientists that have made global history by producing 2 new climate-smart rice varieties using the 21st century breeding technology called genome editing. This also helps conserve water and reduce emissions of methane, Radhika.
That's right. NDTV science editor Pallav Bhagla spoke to Dr. C. Vishwanathan, the scientist who led the work at Indian Agriculture Research Institute, to understand the historic nature of this effort. Let's listen in.
India knows about Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, Gaganyaan. Today, India's scientists have given what I call Thanyan. I have with me Dr. C. Vishwanathan, a scientist at the Indian Agriculture Research Institute, who has given us these 2 new rice varieties. What is new about these new rice varieties?
Thank you, Ballavji, for asking this very important question. Today, we have used the genome editing technology to develop the world's first genome edited rice varieties. The first variety, what you see here, the Kamla, which produces about 30% higher grain yield with 20 days less duration. And the other variety you are seeing this side, the Pusa DST rice 1, it is tolerant to drought and it is tolerant to salinity. So these 2 varieties will help in bringing revolution in enhancing the productivity and also enhancing the climate resilience in India.
Now, are these varieties genetically modified? Are they carrying foreign genes? Because people have some apprehension about that.
No, these varieties are not genetically modified. These are genome edited. They don't have any foreign gene. This has been tested and approval has been obtained from the Institutional Biosafety Committee and the RCGM. No foreign gene. The native gene is modified in the native place. It is same as that of the mutation. Only thing is it is very precise.
Is this climate smart?
Yes, these varieties are climate smart.
Indian scientists giving not only India, but the world's first rice, 21st century bread varieties.
Focus teenager Vaibhav Suryavanshiy's astonishing batting skills have captured the attention of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who on Sunday hailed the son of Bihar and encouraged the youth to put in hard yards and compete intensely to own the stage.
That's right. Prime Minister Modi mentioned his name and his, extraordinary performance, and said that it's not just, how he performed when it came to that particular match, but the kind of matches that he's played overall. The 14-year-old Suryavanshi, who hails from Bihar, became a toast of cricketing world when he hit a stunning 35-ball 100 for Rajasthan Royals against Gujarat Titans recently in the IPL match. Let's listen in to Prime Minister Modi.
मैं आपको क्रिकेट की दुनिया से एक उदाहरण देता हूं। अभी हमने आईपीएल में बिहार के ही बेटे वैभव सूर्यवंशी का शानदार प्रदर्शन देखा। इतनी कम आयु में वैभव ने इतना जबरदस्त रिकॉर्ड बना दिया। वैभव के इस अच्छे खेल के पीछे उनकी मेहनत तो है ही, उनके टैलेंट को सामने लाने में अलग अलग लेवल पर ज्यादा से ज्यादा मैचों ने भी बड़ी भूमिका निभाई। यानी जो जितना खेलेगा वो उतना खिलेगा।
Let's just get you more news coming in, and very tragic news, Radhika, coming in from Rajasthan. This is in regard to a couple and their 3 children, All 5 members of the family died in a massive fire that broke out in a 5-story building in Kanpur. The fire led to a blast of domestic LPG cylinder, and that really worsened the situation.
That's right. The incident took place in Gandhinagar locality. According to initial reports, the building housed a shoe manufacturing unit on lower floors, while upper floors were used as residences. Fire started due to a short circuit and quickly engulfed the entire structure.
And today is the day, the annual Met Gala, that really marks the opening of the new exhibition at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. It's all set to take place today. And Radhika, big names. We're talking about Shah Rukh Khan, we're talking about Kiara Advani, and also Diljit Dosanjh to be there at the Met Gala this year.
Certainly, man of the moment will of course be SRK. This year's theme focuses on influence of black designers, culture on fashion, and it will see the debut of King Khan. Take a look at this report.
The fashion world gears up for the first Monday in May, also known as the Met Ball. Met Ball or Met Gala marks the opening of the exhibition at the Costume Institute, Metropolitan Museum in New York. It is the social event and the most glamorous party of the year. This year, the Costume Institute celebrates the influence and contribution made by the black fashion community on the landscape of fashion. The exhibition is titled Superfine, Tailoring Black Style, inspired by Monica L. Miller's book, Slaves to Fashion. It traces and honors the prominent fashion and design figures in the African-American community and how their culture has significantly shaped modern fashion. One standout style trend, the very cool dandyism. And who is a dandy, you may ask? Well, someone who pays great attention to their physical appearance and always dresses in fashionable clothes. But it is more than just looking good. It's reclaiming of a space in a world that often confines one's identity. In short, fashion as a form of self-expression and a subtle act of rebellion. Now, the Met Gala is the fanciest fancy dress competition with a strict dress code. This year, the dress code is tailored for you. So expect sharp suits in all stylized kinds, and all the guests are expected to stick to the dress code. The guest list is very discreet, but we have heard rumors that Bollywood's King Khan might make an appearance. Shah Rukh Khan is expected to attend this year's Met Ball, accompanied by designer Sabyasachi. This year's co-chairs are also super suave. Actor Coleman Domingo, the F1 racing superstar Lewis Hamilton, rap artists A$AP Rocky and Pharrell Williams, and NBA icon LeBron James acting as an honorary co-chair. All this has got us feeling very excited. So pull out your trendy tailored pieces and get ready for a night filled with fabulous fashion moments as the stars get ready to strike a pose at the famous Met stairs.
Shifting focus to Bengaluru now, cops have nabbed the man accused in the shocking Bengaluru molestation case that has sparked a city-wide outrage. A 23-year-old woman was molested late at night outside a tech park in the IT city. In fact, the accused was riding a two-wheeler, brazenly striking the woman twice before fleeing the scene. Divya.
That's right. Of course, very disturbingly, the survivor has said that despite that she was really screaming and shouting for help, but no one came forward. There were people around. The incident, of course, has been caught on CCTV camera that helped nab the man, the perpetrator in this case, like you mentioned, and of course has raised serious concerns when it comes to the safety and also the public opinion in one of India's busiest IT hubs. So let's also just get you an account of what the survivor had to say. She spoke with our colleague, Deepak.
What exactly happened? Is it okay if you do you want to really talk about it?
Yeah, so I was just walking across the Eco World road, and I was well within the Eco World space and it is considered to be like a high surveillance area.
Absolutely.
That's even more surprising that in such a high surveillance area, a guy still like, it's not just even surveillance, but still like considering like even in the area that ensures its safety by having security guards at every few meters away, having good surveillance cameras at every few meters, still such kind of an incident happened. That's the most surprising thing, and that in itself is a testimony of the fact that no matter how much safety we can have, still like there is still a big loophole where it lies like in how the people are conditioned to look at each other, how people are conditioned towards empathy, like just respecting the basic respect towards each other's boundaries. That's still such a big loophole in the society as of now.
Yeah.
And like I can just go on speaking about it, but yeah, I was just walking in the eco world space, and I was in my own zone, and I just felt this huge hit on my back, and like I was just perplexed during the first hit. Like, is it like a vehicle that drove so recklessly that was the guy drunk, that he just did not have any awareness of what how he's driving, that it happened? So I was just pretty perplexed, and then again the same thing happened for the second time, and in a much ferocious way. So this is what had happened, and then I was pretty sure, okay, someone is doing this deliberately. It's not something that has happened by accident by someone. So then third time, I could just see the guy like taking a U-turn and coming for me. I shouted for help. There were like so many guys, since it's like a bustling area.
Correct.
There are always people crossing this area. I asked people for help. I shouted for help. I stopped auto drivers on the way. I stopped people returning from their job.
Come to your help at that point?
Nobody came for my help. That was the most surprising thing. And this is such a big stigma about all of this in the society. That's why I just wanted to so openly speak about it.
And let's just switch tracks now to as India's creative economy rises. We have our colleague Sakshi Bajaj joining us, getting us a discussion. Sakshi, take us through the growth of this sector.
Absolutely. Creativity meets coding now. It is also the era where software and storytelling come together and art meets really augmented reality. We are talking about the rise of India's orange economy or creator economy. At the WAVE Summit, or the World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the rise of India's orange economy, essentially really the rise of India's creative economy, such as music, films, food, gaming and animation. And he said it is truly the time to create in India and create for the world. Now, to discuss the growth of this sector further, I am joined by Dr. Trivikraman Thampi, co-founder and co-CEO at Games 24x7. Thank you for your time. At the WAVE Summit, the aim to unlock a $50 billion market by 2029 was declared. What, to your mind, are the critical enablers to make this vision a reality?
Thank you, Sakshi, first of all, for having me. First of all, I'd like to say, coming from the entertainment space, that it's quite incredible that the government, through the WAVES program, has set up this $50 billion, ambitious target for the orange economy. And when it comes to achieving that vision, I think three things matter: capital, infrastructure, and talent. I think we all know now that there's no dearth of capital in India. That problem's been solved. When it comes to infrastructure for the orange economy, again, I don't think that's a challenge anymore when it comes to India. So really the challenge is on the talent side. And when I say that, I don't mean that we don't have creative talent in India. I think there's a ton of creative talent. I think the challenge is on converting or taking that raw creative talent and turning it into successful businesses and enterprise value. It's just ironic that there's no dearth of capital in India, but when it comes to guidance and mentorship for creative talent or talent in general, to turn ideas from concepts into successful execution, that's definitely a gap. And broadly, that's the reason we started our Techspedite program, which is an accelerator program. It's been super successful. Over 350 applications this year. And our goal with this program was exactly that. While the program obviously funds startups, the biggest goal that we set out with was to solve that problem and help bright, talented founders and entrepreneurs, to solve practical problems that stand between them and building successful businesses.
Right.
So I think that 50 billion goal is ambitious and achievable, but it's going to need a lot of institutional support, both from the government and the industry.
Right, you mentioned the talent gap. Then what really are the skill sets that India's youth interested in the orange economy or the creative economy must focus on, and how can they really ensure sustainable employment in the sector?
I think particularly in the, I think what I can talk about more is the gaming industry, which I know a lot more about coming from the games industry. And, the challenge right now is on monetization. So you have a lot of very talented developers and studios. They're building some really cool games. I don't think there's any doubt of that. The problem is, and has been for a while now, is on how to monetize users on the games that are being built in India right now. And it's not surprising. I think we've seen that challenge in another space as well. If you go back 20, 30 years, you could not imagine the amount of content that is being streamed today to entertain people. Like that kind of content did not exist, and nobody could imagine that. I mean, I don't think the word streaming existed then. But technology has solved that monetization problem through OTT platforms. So when it comes particularly to gaming in India, I think the talent is there. As I said, the core raw talent is there. The audience is there. What's missing, the gap, as I talked about, is how to turn some of that content into successful businesses. And that goes to, a lot of problems there. Like part of it is recognizing the right audience, what's your right marketing approach, what's your product design, what technology are you using, how are you leveraging AI. It really starts to get into the details, but that's where I think the entrepreneur community, the talent pool, really needs guidance and mentorship right now.
Right, guidance and mentorship, you say. Of course, India's rapidly growing creator landscape is poised to drive over $1 trillion annually by 2030. This according to a new report by the Boston Consulting Group. So when the potential is so huge, really, to have an impact, what is the need of the hour for India to seize the moment at the global stage, especially since we are living in a world of tariff uncertainties?
I would say, definitely leveraging AI would be terribly important at this stage. I think, and one of the challenges that we have seen, while there are a ton of applications of AI that you can create right now, but that last mile problem of getting from 70-80% accuracy to 95-100% is a significant challenge, but that's a challenge that's solvable. We are solving those challenges in our company today when it comes to building conversational analytics tool, when it comes to building chatbots, something that's more relevant to the current context, of Wave, the orange economy conversation that we are having. We're working on something that's really cool. We're basically taking digital creatives and building AI to alter their shape, their size, their shape, and their orientation. Now, this might sound like a easy problem, but particularly on the orientation side, it's a hard problem to solve. And for us, it's really a baby step in terms of the larger, kind of longer-term vision we have of using AI to build digital creatives from scratch.
Right. Now, since this sector integrates economic, cultural, and social aspects, how can we use it to not only inspire those within the sector, but also send the right message across for all?
I mean, I think, the Honorable Prime Minister also spoke about this, right? I think from a right message perspective, I think one of the most important things is using technology, AI, as we embark on this path of creating, the $50 billion orange economy, to do it responsibly. I think, again, as we use AI, as we leverage AI to build solutions, we know about standard problems that exist in AI systems. We know about we've heard of many stories about AI systems throwing out responses or throwing out solutions that may not be sensitive or that may not be sending people in the right direction. So I think that's definitely an area where, as again I said, the Honorable Prime Minister said, we're going to have to think hard about, which is how to use these systems responsibly while obviously trying to achieve the ambitious goals that have been set out.
Right, right. Thank you so much for this insightful interaction and for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap on a new emerging economy and sector. Over to Divya and Radhika for other news.
All right, thank you, Sakshi, for bringing us that. Let's shift our focus to Punjab now. Punjab Assembly will hold a special session of the Assembly over the water war with Haryana. In fact, the ongoing row was triggered by BBMB decision to release 8,500 cusecs of water from the reservoir to Haryana, which is an additional 4,500 cusecs. So water war there brewing and intensifying between Haryana and Punjab, Divya.
Well, of course, this has been decade old as far as the issue is concerned. While Shiromani Akali Dal President Sukhbir Singh Badal on Sunday wrote a letter, in fact, to Prime Minister Modi seeking his intervention in the ongoing water dispute between Punjab and Haryana. He strongly opposed Haryana's demand for an increased share as far as raising the issue of Punjab's river waters, and that this is a case of brazen loot against the people of the patriotic border state. That is what was really said in that letter. We have, of course, our colleagues Gurpreet. Okay, we also have our colleague Anushka joining us to get us more on this, Radhika.
That's right. Let's go straight across to Anushka first. Anushka, of course, this is the water war between Punjab and Haryana that is intensifying. Punjab's Assembly has convened a special session as well. But take us through the politics that has been playing out over the last few years and what can be expected today.
That's right, Radhika. We are seeing that the water war is causing a ripple effect in Delhi as well. We do know that Delhi is largely, relying on water for Haryana, and because of this war, this is causing a little bit of unrest between the leaders and the BJP-led government in Delhi. Also, while Rekha Gupta has ensured people that she will not let anyone in Delhi, be inconvenienced because of the water war that is going on between Punjab and Haryana. Today, a special meeting has been in fact called in by the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab, wherein it will be discussed as to what the next step would be. We do know that Bhagwant Mann, the Chief Minister of Punjab, has largely been saying that this is arm twisting by the central government, giving vote, in favor of Haryana, because we do know that BBMB, when the voting had been done, had decided that the water share should be, going to not just Delhi but also to Rajasthan, where water crisis can be seen in, after a few days. We do know that IMD has predicted over normal heat and heat waves in the coming months, and that is why there is a lot of speculation that there is going to be a water scarcity, not just in Punjab, but not just in Haryana, but also in Delhi, because Delhi is largely relying on Haryana for the water supply. We do know that Union Home Secretary Govind Mohan had called in a meeting, in New Delhi, that advised Punjab to accede to the BBMB's decision to release 4,500 cusecs of extra water from Bhakra Dam to Haryana for the next 8 days to meet the urgent water requirements of the state to some parts of Rajasthan also. So we do know that the Aam Aadmi Party is protesting regarding this, and has been saying that the central government is arm twisting Punjab to give water to the neighboring state, and this is a straight attack to the rights of water, and that is why this whole meeting has been called in. It is going to be decided in this meeting as to what can be done, and the Punjab minister are largely protesting because of this whole issue. Over to you.
Right, Gurpreet joining us as well. Gurpreet, of course, that special session, the Assembly session coming up in regard to this water war. Of course, Punjab saying that it really doesn't have any surplus water to spare, and that whatever was they had has already been given to Haryana. Take us through this war of words and this water war that continues, and that is really coming up during that special session.
Well, yes, we have seen the water war is escalating in both the states, and if we can talk about both the states' Chief Minister, Punjab Chief Minister has already called all-party meeting in which they have already decided not to share a single drop of water with Haryana because they are not in a situation to share water with Haryana at this point of time and during this peak season. At the same time, we have seen Haryana has also called all-party meeting in which they had already passed a resolution saying that they will definitely get its share from Punjab, and they have already appealed Punjab government to release its share because otherwise the people of Haryana, they are going to face a lot of drinking water problem in the coming days. What we have seen, Bakra Byas Management Board, they had also called a meeting to discuss about this ongoing controversy between both the states. But at the same time, we have seen the Punjab government has already taken a very firm stand, and they have already called a special session, one-day special session. And what we have learned from the Punjab government and Punjab ministers also, they are going to bring a resolution against this demand of Haryana, and they say they will also raise this issue of a share of the officers in Bakra Byas Management Board because a lot of arm twisting has been seen from the central government, and some of the officers had already been transparent, and the share and the ratio of the officer which they are expecting, the Punjab is expecting, that is not up to the mark. So all these issues are coming in this one-day special session which has already been called by the Punjab government. So we have to wait and watch to see how this political controversy will be ended. But as of now, we have seen both the sides, whether it's the Punjab Chief Minister or Haryana Chief Minister, they have already taken a firm stand. Haryana Chief Minister has been saying they will definitely get its quota from Punjab, and Punjab Chief Minister say they are not in a position to give a single drop of water. So we have to wait and watch what will come out of this special session which has already been called by the Punjab government. Back to studio.
All right, so the outcome of the special session that has been called is something that we'll have to wait and watch out for, but the ongoing row is certainly intensifying between Haryana and Punjab as far as water sharing is concerned. Thank you for those details, Gurpreet as well as Anushka.
And with
that, we'll slip into a short break. More news and updates coming up on the other side.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora.